So I'm starting the disassembly on the tool head here on the shaper, and I thought I'd go ahead and show you what I've done so far and start talking about some of the components of this. So here is the lantern, the tool holder that it usually sits in here like so. I had to do a little bit of grinding on it. There was an area there that it got hit, and then there was areas on the outside of the edge that was not allowing it to slide through the hole, so I had to do just a minor bit of grinding there. But I want to do some polishing, cleaning up on all this stuff. It's going to be done. So here is the clapper. Okay, now this goes up in here just like so, and this is engineered to swing out like that so that the tool tip will clear the work and not scratch it and dig in on the return stroke. Now what holds this in is this tapered pin, and there is a groove that's milled through there as well, and the end of it was a little bit flared, so the nut was a little bit difficult to get off, but I'm going to clean those threads up. That's the nut for it right there. I'm going to clean that nut up real good. But this just goes through like so, and it was precision reamed, probably with a tapered reamer. And once you snug this nut up, you adjust just the slightest amount of tension on this. These surfaces were originally scraped from the factory, and I can still see a little bit of the factory scraping in there, but it needs to be stoned. There's wear in there from chips getting caught up in it, and then this is the back surface here where it actually sits once it pushes against, whenever you're making your cuts. So it needs to be stoned. There's been chips that's caught up in behind that. And then of course your tool post slides through like that. Okay, so that's how far I've got now. Oh, and this is a gripper pad that screws onto the front of it as well. You can take those 4 screws off and take that plate off. I want to give all this a good cleaning and polishing and make it look good again. So now to get this off, we just have to take this nut off here. This is a stud that goes into the tool slide, and then apparently this screw here, kind of surprised that it's a slotted screw, and it's already been gone into before because I can see where people's already worked on it. So I'll take a punch and a hammer and lightly tap this so that this will start unscrewing, and then we'll take this off, and this should slide off here. Oh man, there's a tight spot in there somewhere, probably on that nut. It's hitting. I got it coming, but that thing sure is trying to be tight on me in some places. Definitely got an issue there. This is just some scrap that I found back there on the shelf that is working with minimal time trying to make something. Alright, I think we're getting somewhere now. We either got some threads or there's a fit that's dinged or something. There we go. I can't tell what it is at this moment. Might be the head of that rolled over. I don't really know. Doesn't look too bad. Just that area there, it might have been rubbing. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Now let's see if this will come off. We'll take this nut off. Yep, I just seen it slide. Look at all that right there, man. Look at all. How does that happen? Like that's been hit on. So that's going to be something we're going to address. It's taking the whole stud out. All right, there we go. And there you have it. So I may want to turn this thing so it's not straight up and down and a little bit easier to work with. I want to get all this cleaned up, all these edges that's been hit on and burred over. I want to clean all that up and make it look uniform again and shiny and polish it. And I think this lock actually, I think it comes out. Okay, see, that lock just comes out. There it is right there. So it just pushes in that hole and held in there by friction whenever you shove against it. I can tell that's brass. That's a brass piece, so it doesn't mar the tool slide up here. This square-headed screw right here is the lock for the rotation of the tool head. You have divisions all the way around it right here. Let's see, it goes to 30 degrees up here, and you have a 0 mark right there. So this has all been painted over. This needs to be cleaned up. All right. And it's exactly on 90 degrees right there. So we should be able to loosen this. There it goes. All right, see that? That's the first time I've moved this. All right. And there, we'll screw it out of here. It looks like this got hit before right there, but this is just open casting. There's nothing in it right there. Spacer. I'm almost concerned there's something missing in here. All right, I got the gib loose. I'm gonna see if it'll unscrew. I tell you what, I'm going to hook the chain hoist to this because I don't want to drop it. It feels like it could be heavy, and I don't want to take a chance of trying to unscrew it and it falling down here. I didn't have enough length to choke it like I wanted to, so I'm having to just kind of straddle it like that. Okay. I'm holding on to it. There it is. All right, I'm gonna go set her down. I think what we've discovered is that there is a piece missing from the bottom side of this tool head right here. So there's a nut on this side here, and it's fixed in there with what looks like a pin. You can see the top of the pin that's driven in right there. And I remember seeing that in the parts breakdown. I got to go back to the book and look at all this and see what's showing. So there's a spacer that goes right there. You've seen that. There's a gear. This is a bevel gear, and it's floating inside this bore right here. And there's a keyway inside. There's an internal keyway and a bore. So that's telling me something is missing that should be in this gear that's not in there, because this is why the auto down feed was not working even whenever I was doing it manually. See? I'm ratcheting it. That's why it wasn't doing anything, because it's turning the gear, but it's not turning the screw. The screw is just sticking in the center. That's just floating in the middle of that with nothing attached to it. All right, so I got to get back to my parts breakdown in the book and see what's going on right here. It looks to me like it got damaged. Somebody's hit it in the past and it probably messed up some parts and they just took it out of there. That's why I had so much backlash. That's what I'm thinking. So there should be some kind of nut that slides in this gear with a key that's attached to this gear, and then the threads will be attached to the screw right there, and then maybe some kind of retainer on this side. I'm not sure yet. So we got to do some more digging and researching. So here's the parts breakdown in the manual. All right, and it's not helping me a lot because it doesn't show the tool head for the automatic down feed unit like I have. This is for the tool room and industrial shapers. Mine's a universal industrial. So here's the, the main housing of the tool head right there, and you can see the nut number 19 that goes into there, retained by a pin. On the bottom side right here, there's nothing. It doesn't show anything. So there should be some bevel gears right here and another nut of some sort that goes right there. So this really isn't helping, but this shows an overall breakdown of all the parts right there. So here's all the parts that I can go ahead and get started on getting it cleaned up. I plan on mixing up another tub of some purple cleaner here in a bit after this video, and we're going to start doing some degreasing of all these parts right here. Probably take this plate off and lay everything in there and let them soak. I want to get this apart right here. All right, just do some general cleaning of everything. The gib looks to be in good shape. Yep, looks to be in good shape. We'll just do a really fine hone on that, with a honing stick. Same thing with the dovetails. We'll just hone it in case there is any, there's some minor burr sticking up somewhere. Probably gonna go ahead and take this screw out of the tool slide right here so we can soak it and get it cleaned up real good. All right, so that's the plan for today. And then this gives you another look at the marks and the dings and the flares that need to be cleaned up and addressed, and really want to get all that cleaned up real good. All right, so from there, what I'm going to tell you about is one of my viewers, his name is Tim. Now, this is probably about a month ago. He found a G&E shaper just like mine in the scrapyard, except it's a 24-inch model. And a very sad story and pictures to see that shaper was sitting out in the scrapyard. Apparently, it was dumped there with a bunch of machines from a county school, college, I think, or something like that. So anyway, he went out there. He goes to this junkyard all the time. And he started pulling parts off of it to save in case I needed any of them. So while he was pulling those parts off, he grabbed the handles, the oils, the sights, some of the crank handles. I told him, oh, this machine, it had automatic down feed like mine. And I knew that something was wrong with mine. I wasn't sure what it is. I told him, I was like, is there any way you can pull those auto down feed parts? So he pulled that unit out. It's just like 3 screws that go into the side of the ram. He pulled that out. And he pulled the entire tool head off the front of the machine in case there was something there that I could use if I needed it. So amazing that even if the parts are not the same, a different size, there's going to be something there to reference to that I know that I'm missing. So I just went back and looked at that email, and he showed a picture of the whole tool head together, and I could see it all assembled. So I just sent him an email with some pictures of this, asking can he give me some detailed pictures of that second nut that's missing on the back side. But I'm going to get with Tim and see if maybe he can box all that stuff up and go ahead and get it sent to me so that I have either some spare parts or something to reference off of. But I'm kind of hoping that it's all the same as this stuff right here and then the tool head on the machine, so that I would have some spare parts there that maybe I can just pull out of that and put it in mine. So anyway, I'll bring you back later when I make some more progress on it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and remove the automatic down feed mechanism here and see if I can get the rest of this tool head out of the ram. I just took the screws out. There's 3 screws. All right, not wanting to come. I was able to pull it all the way back and look in there. There's a spring on this back side that's attached to this thing, and you actually have to kind of rotate this thing around just the right position to get it out. But with this being in there, this is nothing causing this head to slide out, because the bevel gears just meet like that, so it's not blocking this from coming out. So there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just gonna put it back in there. I think that's just the bevel gear not mesh in there. Yeah. And I don't know the proper way to get that spring off, because you can't get all the way up in underneath there to get that. You'd have to probably maybe move the ram all the way out. That might be how you have to do it. I might look at that, moving the ram out, but for now I'm going to leave it alone. So I went back into my filing cabinet and pulled out the other books that Tom Coutron had sent me. This brand new parts list for the G&E. And if you go to the very back page, there is the info that we were looking for. So, by the way, this is the tool lifter information. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. This is what we're looking at right here. So what I thought is a missing screw, or a nut, I mean, that goes in the bottom side right there. Apparently there is not a nut. Got some comments from guys online, because I posted it on Instagram, that theirs does not have a nut. And then Tim been emailing me, the unit that he pulled apart also does not have a nut. But what in fact is going on, I believe, is what drives the screw is this key right here. And that bevel gear that I need to go out, that bevel gear is what sits right here. Inside there is an internal keyway, so there should be a key inside of that gear which will fit onto the lead screw. I didn't even pay attention to the lead screw, that there's a keyway on the bottom of it. So I got it out there soaking right now. So it looks like, as far as fixing this, that might be all we got to do, is just fix this gear so that there's a key in there. All right, so apparently there is no other threaded nut that goes in there. Now this piece right here, it says a bush, number 2 is a bushing. I believe that's the bushing, the spacer that goes between this gear and the actual nut right there. So I think this spacer just goes right there. Yeah, that's where the arrow's going. All right, so I think that's where we're at for now. This is the power down feed mechanism right there. So there again, it shows it. There is the bottom gear that goes right there with a key and the pins. So yeah, I went ahead and stroked the thing out, and that's how you can access underneath this. I guess that's actually how you're supposed to access the bottom of the ram for installing, removing these parts right here. So let me take you down here and show you what's going on, and see if I can get some light in here as well. My flashlight batteries are dead right now. I got to get some more. So that plate on the back, that's what holds the tool head in there. There's 3 cap head bolts. I need to get those 3 bolts out. The clamp is also there that tightens it up. So if I get those bolts out, I can pull that plate off and slide the tool head out of there. Again, there's no reason to have to take the this guy right here. Shouldn't be any reason to actually have to remove that, but the spring, this is how you would access the spring, is right up in there. Let me see if it's right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, that's what I'm going to work on right there. Here's a good look at the bottom of the ways. Look pretty good. One of my viewers a long time ago, probably 2-3 years at least, sent me this box of Allen wrenches as a viewer appreciation gift. And this is the second time that this box has really helped me out. Apparently G&E loved 9/16. So the cap head bolts I'm trying to get loose requires a 9/16 Allen wrench. I could not find one until I looked in this box. Here it is, right here. One of my little stashes of Allen wrenches is right here, and I've been in that box before, and I believe it was one of these wrenches here that I had gotten out of there. I don't remember which one it was, but I couldn't find a 9/16 in there. There's some more of my tool bits there, some files. 9/16 is the golden ticket right there, and I was thankful to find that in that box. So let me show you what we're working with here. All right, there's one right there. That's it right there. It is. Look at that. 9/16. That was it. All right, I'm probably gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold this. I've got a brass bar right here that I'll use to hold this thing and get all these loose, and then I'll bring it back. There's the plate. There's a shim in there too. Brass shim. Oh, dang it. Oh man. I guess I can straighten them up. Alright. We'll go ahead and take the clamp out since we've gone this far. Okay, bevel side to the back against the plate there. I got you looking directly inside of the ram, and this is looking at the auto down feed mechanism. I'm actuating the little pawl arm on the side here, and I'll reach in here and hold the bevel gear. So as it's going up, so backstroke pushes the gear up on the little cam, the pawl right there, and it comes back down, comes back for another backstroke, and as it slides over the cam plate, pushes the gear. So this gear is going to turn a bevel gear here, which is going to come out and turn that gear there, which is going to move the screw. That's how that works right there. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And then the crank arm up top that adjusts your ram position, that's those gears right here. Made a little bit of progress ahead of you there. I went ahead and removed this bevel gear here. There is a set screw that holds it in. It's right here. So this just slides on through there. Real nice fit. Slides on through there, and then that set screw holds it in place. We're just going to clean that up and leave it like it is. No point in taking that apart. All right. So here is what we were trying to get to. This guy right here. So you can see the keyway in there. It looks like there's still one pin in it, but the other one's gone. So This is what's going to drive our lead screw. So we just about got it all completely torn down now, so we're going to start cleaning it up. Went ahead and cleaned off the lead screw, and yes, there's a key that goes all the way down. So what I'm figuring out now is that there is no second threaded bushing. The bevel gear, this is an extremely close fit over this screw right here, enough so that I'm having a hard time even getting it on there. There it goes. I think there's a burr down there. That is a really close fit right there. See, it kind of gets stuck down on the end. So you just have a keyway. That's all it drives, is just a key. So that should be fixed to that shaft all the time, and it shouldn't be spinning through there like that. So that's what we're going to have to fix. It's got a ding or a flare or something out here on the very end, so I need to clean that last couple threads there. Now I just did some measuring on this thread too. As far as the backlash, it's got some wear in it somewhere. Now looking at it can be deceiving, because you can look at it and think to yourself, well, that's probably thinner in here because of wear. But I just checked it with the calipers down here, you know, on the ends, and then compared it to the middle, and you've got maybe 0.005 difference on the thickness of the thread there. You know, the vast majority of your wear is going to be right here in the middle section. I don't think the screw is worn enough to justify making another screw. I'm going to screw it back into this nut all the way up in there like it's supposed to be, and see if I can tell if maybe the nut has some wear in it. This is the general area that it's going to be sitting at most of the time whenever it's ready to cut. So this is where we need to make our fix right here. But I'm also looking at the looseness. So I'm thinking it's probably the nut more so than the rod has some wear. Oh yeah, there you go. That's where your backlash is at right there. I think that's going to be in the nut. I was going to show you, I'm trying to get it over here to you. It is a bushing, threaded bushing. There's a pin, I believe it's a tapered pin. You can see on the back right here. There's the back of the pin. So that's what I'm going to do next, is go ahead and knock that out. And look at that nut. Gonna use this nice proto punch and hopefully knock that pin right on out of there. I would have thought it would have popped out of there. Must be a straight pin. Broken pin. Straight pin though. I guess I might have to go through that way now and see if I can knock it out of there. I'll try a punch first. Let me go get my brass. I screwed the screw in there to the back, and I'm going to use that to try to push it out of there. Got a close fit on it, don't they? There it is. I messed up that last thread the first time I was bumping on it. Yeah, chipped it out of there. I guess we're going to see about making us a nut. So this is going to be the culprit of the backlash. Now looking at right here, to the untrained eye, that doesn't look like a lot, but whenever you're trying to take precision measurements, precision movements with the screw, that's a lot right there. As I said before, I think the screw's fine. I'm not going to worry about the screw, but I want to see about making a nut. Now that's either going to be me machining one completely out of scratch, but I'm also thinking about checking with Green Bay to see if they have one of these. We used to buy this kind of stuff where it would already have the proper thread inside of it. They had nuts pre-machined, the thread going through it, and you would machine the outside as suited, you know, for your equipment. So that might be the way to go there too, but we'll see. Well, I've been getting some cleaning done. All these parts right here are clean. None of them's like cleaned and polished yet, but degreased, should I say. These still need to get clean, so after I do this video, I'm gonna start soaking those pieces down there, get all those cleaned up there as well. This one I'll just clean by hand down here, the actual main body of the tool head. And I did some checking on the thread and the nut right there. We'll talk about that, but yeah, all these are ready to be polished up. See, there's the tool holder there, the lantern. I'm gonna do some dressing on that, polishing, get it cleaned up. All these parts, we're gonna get them cleaned up really well. This is the clapper. There's the taper pin that goes through the clapper. There's the gib. It seems to be in good shape. There's one scratch right there. So we'll just take our hone and we'll just lightly hone it to make sure there's no high spots on it. There's a couple burrs on the end for where it's been hit, and I'll knock those off, but good shape on the gib there. So yeah, anyway, that's just all the hardware, all the little pieces, all the little whatnots that go in there, even this little spring doodad right here. All right, that's the part of the tool slide right there. Okay, well that's about it. All right, on the screw, what we've got is, it's an oddball. It's not a standard. I looked up Green Bay and they don't have this size. This is 1 1/16, 5. It's not a standard. It's something more proprietary for the design of the manufacturer. So it looks like if I want a new nut, I've got to make it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and find me a piece of ductile iron or cast iron, whatever, and we'll just make us one. I'm sure you guys would like to see that anyway. First time that we'll have cut this is an Acme thread, so we'll be cutting a 29-degree Acme thread here in the shop. 5 pitch, 5 threads per inch. So I've got a really good 5/8 diameter boring bar. It's a Williams, and we'll use a 3/16 square tool bit. We'll have to grind it the proper size for a 5 pitch Acme thread, and I'll copy this with the dimensions of the bore, and you know, and we'll just thread it so that we're going to try to thread it so that we have a very close fit on the screw right here. All right, and that's about it for now. I'm going to get cleaning up those, and whenever I have some more progress, I'll bring you back for another video.